On. Hello, everybody tuning in. Thanks for watching another episode of BioTalk Live. I'm here with co-hosts Geo and GuinessWalker, and we have BioTube TV down here. How's it going?
Hey. What's
up? We've got people writing in the chat. Today is going to be kind of a just go for it, talk about what you want. I would like to also get into this idea that I've been brewing in my head, you know, as this, as everyone's starting to open things up in the country and everything, you know, people are talking about Comic-Con coming back, people are talking about new expositions coming back, so the idea of like a Bionicle convention, which I feel like LEGO would have no problem with, we can throw it on our own, you know, if it's not really for profit, if it's really just a fan gathering. I've seen people do it in the past, even when Bionicle G1 was still happening, there were a couple of like meetups, and you have your brick fairs and you have your brick cons, but I was always thinking like, what if there was literally a BioniCon? Like, I think that's something that, you know, in the works through BioTube and through Reddit forums, I feel like eventually something that could like definitely come to fruition in the future. But to start, okay, how's it going? We got Paraka Avok, awesome. We have DXL the Poet, Bioscrowl, Constorm Entertainment, Sposenju, Space Skillet. I don't believe I've seen you before. Welcome to the live show. Yeah, Sposenju, Bioscrowl 97, CMOS, Dorothy Josephia says BioNicon, but we all chill in Zach's basement and build old sets and make Bionicle memes. I wish that basement was still around, man. It's been completely demolished. That house is long gone, unfortunately. It's so sad. People talking in the chat saying what's up. BioNicon sounds like a cool idea, amazing idea. Not sure how much attention it would get. No, it'd be very small. It'd literally be like, who knows, you know? You'd be surprised, though. People you can donate together and buy out just a hotel lobby, you know, to just rent. And, you know, people can, well, we'd find a spot. It's probably in the U.S., unfortunately, for a lot of you international people. But who knows? You know, you make it a yearly thing, it picks up traction. Obviously, it wouldn't be the size of a BrickCon or Brick Fair or anything. Those act themselves as like pseudo-Bionicle conventions, no doubt. But it's something I could see happening in the future. It's definitely interesting. How's it going? We got Odd Dude 21, Clips Films Melbourne. All right, 12 viewers. Awesome. So I'll toss it to the chat in a bit, but for now, let's just go around. Geo, GuinessWalker, any things you guys want to talk about or say, or maybe just comment on that idea.
I just want to make sure before I get going, is there any echo from my end when you guys talk?
Sounds good to me.
Anything.
So, as far as I'm concerned, if there ever were such a thing, I mean, I've never attended any con of any sort in my life.
Wow.
But if, you know, things got, you know, we're out of this pandemic, assuming, and things are more normal, that would definitely be something worth trying out. And, you know, you say it wouldn't be very big, but I think that would be to its benefit. I would prefer it. Be something small, and
right.
The more niche, the more tight knit, and you know, you don't want the community to be like up its own ass, for lack of a better term.
Right.
But at the same time, when you have an absolute metric crap ton of people, it might become, I don't know. I've never been to a brick con, so I guess I toss it to you guys, to those who have actually been to cons.
For sure.
Would it be better as a smaller one or a bigger one?
It really depends on the type of person you are. I've been to a few cons in my life. I've been to at least 3. One of which being BrickCon 2010. I don't really exactly remember.
Yeah.
I don't remember much. That's when I first met Zach. So.
That's crazy.
I mean, like, yeah, it'd basically be like any other, like, LEGO convention where, like, hypothetically speaking, we would probably have, like, mock showcases, maybe fan fictions, if they were good enough.
Right.
I don't know.
No, I totally...
What you're saying?
Totally. Like, my friend Thrawn, who I think I'll have in here in a second, basically, like... I'd say BrickCon is like an amazing experience. There are some people that I met there that were, you know, adult fans of LEGO that literally for them it was like therapy almost. It's actually crazy. So I definitely say like that to me is a big example of something that I think is like something to look towards as far as like the experience that I had at BritCon as what, you know, a potential like Bionicle convention could be. It's also like, I don't know if you guys ever been to like video game conventions or anything, or
I've been to Comic-Con in Seattle once,
right.
just for a few hours.
Totally.
My sister and I went. She was mega into Homestuck at the time, so she was all dressed up in her Homestuck attire, and she was looking for that fandom. I, on the other hand, wanted nothing to do with that fandom, and I was just on the sidelines, and I found a lot of people cosplaying. So
Right.
cosplaying is like what makes a con, in my opinion.
How do you cosplay a Bionicle?
I've seen people try.
Cause on.
All right, we should be getting Thrawn here in a second.
Oh, so you did add another room and I couldn't see it.
Why can't I see your video? Let me see if I can pull up your like, or just you can put an image maybe. Put up baby Thrawn.
Baby Thrawn, what do you mean?
Just in the Discord, I'm trying to see. I need the fourth window filled because now my setup that I did on the live stream is like all messed up.
Ah.
How did I? Oh wait, hold up. This was a setting that I literally just did. Show non-video participants. Oh no, but then it does mine. Do you have a way to pull up anything, Thrawn, that would like just like share your screen
Minor
or something?
technical difficulties. People were still trying to get all these bugs
I
figured
mean-
out.
Oh, it's fine. Don't
Every
worry
stream.
about it.
I have my like YouTubes that I'm watching, right? That I was watching.
Literally,
I was
that's 100%. That works. That's just fine.
watching. Okay, I could just do. Hold on.
Yeah, take your time. No worry. However, BioTube TV is doing it. BioTube, or as we're seeing here, Huey. What do you think? As far as like a Bionicle convention would be? I know you said you actually live in an area where what is it, like old, like you found an Onipu at like vintage sale that like that's a like
Yeah.
big thing in where you live.
Yeah, there's a lot of like old like stuff from the past that people there's a lot of antique shops, auctions. Antiques are a huge thing around here, but I don't think there's really any Bionicle fans around these parts.
No, yeah.
Nowhere.
You'd have to probably go a ways. Definitely. Let's see what we're getting in the chat right now. Unsure if Lego would allow it. I feel like when it comes to something like that, I don't think Lego really would have any say if that happens or not, right? It's not like illegal to have a convention, like schedule your own fan convention. Am I right?
Yeah, as long as you don't
As
call
long
it
as
a
it's-
Bionicle convention.
As long as it's non-profit, it should be fine.
Right.
Does that help?
Let me see.
If you had a name like BioniCon, I'm sure they couldn't do anything about it.
I don't know. Thrawn, let's see. I think even having Bionicle convention in it, obviously we don't have to, but like wouldn't mess things up too crazy as far as like that's concerned. Oh, now everything's whack.
Now everything's messed up, man.
Well,
Technical difficulties.
personally, I mean, however BioTube TV is doing it, however you're getting your video to come up.
I'm
we can
using
figure out.
OBS.
Okay.
Oh, Tributron just joined.
Hello.
Trim!
There you go.
It sounds like there's something going on in the background. Oh, it's the YouTube. It's the YouTubes. Let's see. Move to...
Technical difficulties.
We'll have to figure it out. That sounds
I'll
like
just
good
have
YouTube.
Do you not just have it displaying the
No.
Discord screen itself?
Yeah, so I have the pop-out window of the Discord screen right now in these four. Let me see. Here, 1 second.
Interesting.
So what I'll have to do here is I think I'll just kick certain people as long as there's 4 in that are talking, and then just rotate consistently between 4, actually. So don't take it personal to anyone that gets kicked. Let me see if this works.
Before.
All right.
Make sure you don't do the red kick. You should do a move, not a kick.
Not a kick. Thanks.
Yeah, because if you do a kick, that could be you could do an accidental IP ban.
Right.
Accidentally banning me. Oh no.
Oh no.
Move to.
Yeah,
Okay.
you want to do move
I'm just
too.
testing it with.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just testing it with Bio. Dude, I hope he doesn't hate me for it. Let's see. Rolls. So what I'm getting for the future is basically here, Thrawn. You don't need to share your screen anymore either. Now I'll literally have your non-video. Tributon, I'll bring you on in just a second after I let Thrawn talk. How's about that? Let me see if that
Okay.
works. Cool. And now.
I mean, wouldn't it be so much easier?
Yeah,
if you
everything's
displayed-
fixed.
Okay, but wouldn't it be easier if you just displayed the Discord screen, like the whole Discord screen?
I know. I was doing that. I was trying to be fancy. I was trying to be all cool. Look at my 4 little. Look at that. I mean, it looks great. Now I'm looking at it on
Just
YouTube.
like that.
I don't
It's
know.
all
It's hella extra. I don't know. Maybe that's just me.
This is how I'm going to do the Lego Masters React videos. Because when Lego Masters comes back
Really?
on TV, I'm gonna literally have the amount of people that are in on the like video, the after show is what I'm gonna basically call it, is gonna be like the same panel. Not for every episode, but for the entire span, you know, instead of trying to like circulate people, which I'm trying to do here.
I mean, but wouldn't it? What I'm saying is, right, for your OBS, right? You could just
Right.
have one single screen. You know, the blue border. You
Right,
have,
right.
One of you, and then one of just the Discord.
I know, right? I was being too extra with this, I guess, but alas, it's
Yeah.
working
You're trying.
right now.
You're trying to make it do too much.
It's working right now, and it looks good to me. So I'll throw it to you, Thrawn. We were all like kind of having just a conversation about, you know, there's Lego BrickCon, there's like Brick Fair, also there's like Transformers conventions.
There's like Bricks by the Bay and like
Yeah.
other Brick
So-
Virginia. I think
so-
is one of them.
We were just talking about like the idea of doing a BioniCon, and you know, obviously, you're not the biggest of Bionicle fan, like know-it-alls or whatever you want to, like hardcore fans. But do you see that as being like a possibility? Like, I feel like you've gone to BrickCon for,
Multiple
I mean,
times. Like a
7,
long
8
time.
years. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if you could get a big enough following to do it, because a lot of the cons will just lump Bionicle into just a subcategory of the Lego convention.
Right.
So it'd be hard to get the funding and be able to make it as good as those conventions. 'Cause,
Totally.
like, right, you're already working against, like, let's say, for example, you did it in Seattle, right? You'd already be working against BrickCon. And then the Portland one as well, you'd also be working against.
That's
Well,
a good point.
Portland is still
Would
even
you
standing
say-
by the time con season shows up.
Would you say
True.
that? Would you say that, like, we'd really be in like, would that like? Because I wouldn't plan it like the weekend of. Would you say that would create a problem? The fact that like,
It's less a problem and more that, like, it'd be splitting interest, right? Because, like, Bionicle is so niche that, like, you might be able to get something small, but you probably wouldn't be able to have anything as, like, well known as BrickCon. Right?
No,
Like, if you wanted to
totally.
do the small kind of thing, like, I think you could manage. It would
Right.
just be
it's like a hangout. My idea,
Yeah,
my idea would not go beyond 20 people, maybe, if we could get that
yeah,
many.
I don't think you'd be able to get more than, like,
Right.
50.
Like, I'm not talking open the halls, invite the public to look
Yeah,
at
yeah, yeah.
people's Bionicle
It'd
mocks.
be like a one day at a hotel
Yeah.
kind of deal.
I think you could basically like I think you could basically get a bunch of people. It'd be fan driven and just donations for everyone that wanted to come to get like a hotel, like a sizable hotel lobby, and then like hotel rooms for the evening. We all go out for a drink or some dinner, like watch some of the movies, just chill and hang out, kind of a weekend, if you will, or a couple,
That
one
just
or 2
sounds like a
days.
bunch of guys hanging out. That doesn't sound like a con.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing. So that would be your
I
would
guess.
yeah. I mean,
Thrawn, you raise a good point when you say that the cost. People, if you want to do a con, there has to be at least one or several people who are going to pay the upfront cost to the convention center runners to actually like allow the people to stay. So
Yeah.
like if you're just doing 20 people hanging out, like you say, like I would be in favor.
That's a real
you could-
I
massive
would
waste
fucking
of
do
space.
that.
You could do that. You could do that at someone's house. You don't need to. You don't need to even call it a con. You
When
can call
I
it a
have-
Bionicle- you can call it a Bionicle house party at that point.
Yeah, when I have a big LA mansion, I'll just hold BioniCon. Just get a
Bionicon in the middle.
So, if we're talking about like this is hypothetical, but if Bionicle got as big as Comic-Con, what would be there?
Right.
That would be a good question.
Is better question, is Bionicle diverse enough to offer like as much as something like a BrickCon? Because it is a subset. Of...
I personally don't think so. BrickCon already is like it's there's so much that they have got going for them, you know? Like yeah, you can do a lot with Bionicle, but you're definitely putting a certain design aspect.
Here's a thought.
Uh-huh.
TechnicCon.
There we go.
Yeah, but they already have. The problem is they already have that in most BrickCons, and that's already a large table.
You know what?
Itself.
I will say this is a crazy hypothetical to talk about. It obviously would most likely make sense to just literally have it at like within a BrickCon or
within a BrickCon. I think you would have a better chance of success. But on the other hand, I mean, if we're being honest, if Homestuck and Furries can have their own convention, I don't see why Bionicle can't. If we're being real.
Yeah.
Then you encounter the problem of you do not want like Bionicle's own version of Rainforest.
True.
Then
true. But again, it's
there were 15-year-olds running around the parking lot whipping Bionicles in fucking cars.
Yeah, your trouble would definitely be trying to get the interest in the first place, and then your funding, and then because you're so limited of like, let's say you're doing just Bionicle, right?
Right.
What events could you do that would make the cost of entry worth it for people, right?
Totally.
Compared
Besides
to
just literally,
if you're going to BrickCon, right? Because BrickCon already is like $8 maximum 15, and you're already super bang for your buck from that. Right?
I've seen.
You're not going to be able to compete with that.
No, I've It would be literally like a meetup then, obviously. I mean, I've seen like at Brick Fair, Virginia, the Three Virtues TTV, which is like a big like Bionicle Ninjago YouTube channel. They like had like they went to the convention, had their own little like panel set up, you know, and had like a Bionicle trivia game and like where you make teams and did all that and like building contests, blind build back, you know.
It works a lot better if you work with already an existing con, right? Like BrickCon, for example.
Exactly.
And then just be like, hey, I have this idea of like our own thing where people can join in and out and do these specific Bionicle related things. You'll already have the funding. You'll have the funding that they have.
So you know the people at BrickCon more than literally anyone I know. Do you think that's something they'd really be open to?
Absolutely. Yeah,
okay.
Of course they would.
They're not like, dude, what a waste of expenses.
They're super open as long as you can get like, if they feel that there's enough of an interest, they'll do it. And I mean, I've already gone to some of the game rooms at BrickCon, and most of them end up being kind of dead. And I feel that if you can get those like 15-year-old crowds who are super into the like the resurgence of the Bionicle interest, I think you could easily do it.
Right, because I know that what they do is they have these rooms. So like it's the Seattle Downtown Convention Hall. They have one big main convention hall, the big walk hall that like has like the corners where people are reselling old parts and like trading and all of that, and people who make custom stuff. And then there's like the main like exhibition that's public. But for everyone that becomes a private person there, which anyone can do over 18, you just pay for like a ticket every day, and it like gets you in on all 4 days. It's like Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. And there are all those rooms, you know, that they get like private rooms, you know, that are like the size of like a classroom generally, or even, you know, you could argue a little bigger. And they basically have people that time out blocks in the schedule of BrickCon to have like, these 2 hours are going to be a blind build, or these 3 hours are a film festival, you know, and that would probably be, if anything, the way I'd go about it.
So there, right, I think your issue there would be the fact that The only way to do that for BrickCon, right, is you have to sign up as a builder, and the builder ticket is a completely different price point than
How much
public entry.
how much was our builder ticket when we each of us?
It starts at I think $40, and
Yeah.
then it goes up by a certain amount every time. But that's because the builder ticket includes so much more than general entry.
Oh yeah.
So like, if you wanted to do something that was targeted towards the general audience, you'd have to figure something else out. Because they are starting to implement, like, they're starting to have overflow. Like, that's what happened the last time I went. Is that there's so much overflow of people coming in that they had to start setting up tents outside of the exhibition center for the public.
What?
So they can send them somewhere else.
Oh my god, dude. See, that's the thing. Is I, like, the last BrickCon I went to was, like, 2012. Since then, you know, I was in college. Like, the Lego movies have come out. Lego's just blown the hell up.
Oh, the 2019 one, they had their own tent, and I was working in that tent because that was also back when I was working at Playwell. And we were in that tent on one side. On another side, there was like a building area, and then past that, there was like an exhibition area, and then past that, there was a like mini food court with like seating and stuff. So they're
That's
definitely
nuts.
expanding.
Wow.
Because they just don't know where to put the people.
It's so funny because
But-
my last year at BrickCon, where I was like, you know, that sucks. I'm going to be in college next year. I probably won't be able to just come down Seattle randomly or come up. I remember them going into that they were almost like going to have to find a smaller convention hall to do the exhibition.
They thought they were going to lose the contract.
That's wild.
Yeah, but it didn't happen, so thank God, right?
Right.
Instead,
it
they're
didn't.
just getting more popular instead of less popular.
That's great. I mean, that was like back when they didn't know if they were actually going to do Lord of the Rings sets. That was when they were like, the idea of a Lego movie was still like, no one ever like had that idea. They were like, what? That's just not going to happen. That's crazy to think about. I mean,
so like if you wanted to work with BrickCon to do a Bionicle thing, you'd only be working with the people that are paying the entrance fee, which is already a very limited group because those people, the reason they're paying so much money, right, is because they're already Lego fans. And they probably are already fans of a specific genre. Thus, they're building in that genre.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So it might be harder to get a public version of that, where it's like open to the public, but you might be able to get away with something, right?
Right.
I mean, they do public events all the time. It's just they're more designed and less freeform, unlike the stuff that's meant for the like non-general audience members.
Right. Okay, I hear you. I'm going into the Discord trying to see if any other people want to, like, maybe I'll get Tributron in here, Thrawn, if you don't mind, and I'll do a little swap.
You know what? You can switch out Trib for me. I'm going to take off, Zach. It's getting late.
No worries, of course. Thanks for being here, Guinness. Always a pleasure, man.
Thanks again, as always, for having me. See you later, guys.
Right,
Dude,
totally.
Later.
Fix your perms, Zach.
Fix my perm. Fix my
Yeah,
perm.
why can't I see this room?
What do you...
cannot see the room because it is
You don't have permission.
That's what I'm saying. Fix your perms, Zach.
What's going on, Tributron? So, now that I feel like we've all gone around, what would you say are your kind of 2 cents, 10 cents, what's the term, about like...
It's 2 cents.
2 cents, about like a BioniCon and what sort of things we could have there as far as keeping people involved, there being perks in it, like... You know, what are anything? You've been listening to us talk for a while, so how about you can go ahead.
All right, so, but when it comes to BioniCon, I feel like it's important to like have particular like mini events and stuff like that to engage with fellow audiences. You know, you can also do like building competitions and stuff like that. You know, or do challenges where you had to use a certain amount of like Bionicle sets, you know, combine like at least like 2 or 3 Bionicle sets, making Kaita or something, and trying to make like cool and interesting, unique ways and how to make a particular build, you know.
That would be
And
interesting.
just showing the possibilities that you can do with Lego, but not just Lego, but Bionicle specifically, you know. And you can also, you know, showcase, you know, do trivia. You know, trivia is very important.
Yeah, I've seen that. I've seen that in like a couple of the brick fairs where they do like a Bionicle trivia sort of game. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I almost went to a brick fair once, but I sadly couldn't do it. You know, 'cause things
Yeah.
came up.
I would say that's like the first step, the first goal I would have is to get people to look into that as it gets closer, bring up the idea. You know, I only had a small little window of an example, but like when I went to BrickCon the 3 or 4 years while I was doing Legomation Studio and YouTube, I would like go there with a giant sign and people would like walk up, kids would walk up and want to take photos, like parents would tell me about like how often their kid I like my voice is in their living room. It was like crazy, you know, just a fraction of what a lot of people like probably experience, you know. But I think I don't know that being there at BrickCon all those years, it's something that I know like people, you know, money is always a thing, travel is a thing, but if Lego is a big part of your life, and especially something as niche as Bionicle, like unless you've done it yourself, you don't know how incredible the feeling is and like the energy is, and like almost this like relief, this like emotional relief, release of like being around people that are that like-minded, like in person. You know, we can do BioTalk live all the live long day, but it's those moments that I've seen at any convention. Like I've been to E3, I've been to Comic-Con, I've seen a lot of these in person. It's like that for so many people, it's like they look forward to that every year, because when we all go back to our lives, you know, there's not maybe one person who knows what a Bionicle even is, but for the most part, it's not like there's your neighbor you can walk over and go get some food with him or coffee and talk about Bionicle.
Exactly. It's that in-person experience that ascends the experience even more, I feel, because like no matter how many like live streams and stuff you do, you know, sure, it's fun and entertaining, but I mean, being with people in person, talking about Bionicle, playing with Bionicle, and doing trivias and all these competitions and things, it's a whole nother level of fun, you know. So I always look forward to that, honestly. And shoot, if Galador can get recognition in Brick Fair, I'm sure Bionicle will do much better.
I'm sure it has. You go to like, I've gone to BrickCon. There's literally a whole like Bionicle section. Like there's two to three tables dedicated to it where people bring their mocks. So it's definitely a thing. It's niche though, and it's interesting. You know, there's all these adults. I don't know because I haven't. This is something I could ask Thrawn again. But like I haven't like been back. Are you here, Thrawn? Would you say like at BrickCon, at least 2019, that's the most recent one you went to, is there still that 2 or 3 tables of Bionicle, or would you say it's decreased?
I think the table is slowly getting a little smaller every time, and usually the other areas are getting bigger.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just because Bionicle has been dead for 11 years.
Yeah,
So-
it's because there's no fresh content. So if you have nothing to work with, right, you'll still have the diehard fans, but
That's why it's the fans' responsibility to make fresh content.
yeah.
Also, if I may, there was a one fan that actually reached out to me, and it was of the younger demographic. He was born in 2008, you know, and he reached out to me when talking about my Makuta Pterodax mock that I built a while back, you know, and he really wanted to build it. You know, he really liked the mock, but the issue is, you know, because he got into Bionicle so late, you know, he doesn't have like access to any of the pieces and stuff.
Parts.
Yeah.
Right.
So like I kind of felt bad about that, you know. So that is part of the reason why I decided to, you know what, if Bionicle ain't going to be coming back, I might as well bring Bionicle back myself, you know. Try to bring newer audiences in. It's gonna be a pain in the butt, but I'm committed to this. I'll make some canisters if I have to.
No, totally,
And sell them.
All right, so let me go ahead and check out the chat right now, see what we're going. Clinsville Melbourne says mask props would still count as cosplay. Right? I could imagine that people bring some of their own masks they've built. I think even like custom making would be a thing. There are Bionicle costumes, says CMOS. Yeah, if you saw our last stream, you saw how I showed what Thrawn and I wore when we were kids as costumes, and I had like Toa Metru Vakama, and he had a Viserat costume. So I'm sure they're out there. I looked online, but they're all kid size, so you'd have to cut the mask off or something.
I have adult sized. I'm building one.
Yeah, they are fairly cheap though, you know, but it's like there's so many niche Bionicle things you could order, like a really giant mask or a comic or like something, but like you're with your like roommates or your family and they're like, what'd you get in the mail? And you're like, oh, a kid-sized Bionicle costume. Who is this for, you grump? What's up? Let's see. Space Skillet. People manage to cosplay Transformers. So Bionicle cosplays sound fun. Right. Could do a speed build contest for like the Toa Mata. No instructions. True, but I feel like some of those pieces are so brittle I wouldn't want the potential for them breaking.
No.
Yeah.
2007 to 2008 pieces are brittle.
Yeah. Well, I feel like even anything Lego that's old, it becomes brittle, you know, years and years, even if it's
It's a
plastic.
decade old already, so yeah.
Especially anything that's in the dark brown or the original brown. Those things. I've had so many of those pieces snap. It's such a pain.
Clipsville, Melbourne. News headlines: Hero Factory fans kicked out of BioniCon. Not meant to be. I think we'd allow it.
Hero Factory is even smaller of a demographic than Bionicle is, honestly.
I don't blame it. I
feel like at that
Not
point
at all.
though, it's like they're connected in just the type of system they're using of Lego, like the building. Like that just, it has to be blended. If there's like a Bionicle table at BrickCon 2021, it's gonna have Hero Factory. Like that's just what it is. I mean, think about it. Hero Factory was around for 4 years, almost 5.
It surprisingly isn't something that I see commonly when I went to BrickCon.
No.
Like, you don't see a lot of Hero Factory. You'll see Hero Factory parts, but you'll
Right.
never see a Hero Factory mock.
Right.
I see Hero Factory parts on a Bionicle character.
Exactly.
And,
yeah, repurposing.
And we start talking about Hero Factory, and the stream goes from 19 to 13. So there you go. I guess I'll switch it up. Let's see. Clipsville, Melbourne. BioniCon can allow Hero Factory parts that are needed for G1. I mean, no, that's the thing. It's like the pieces, like Thrawn. When you were making your mock the other day, you were using Hero Factory pieces. Some molds, some things in here that are still very useful. Definitely. Gaming Hawk, good to see you. The Gaming Hawk, I love Bionicle. Odd Dude 21. Does anyone know where I'd find instructions for life-size Tahu sculptures Lego stores used to have? Do you remember the one at Legoland?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
I
I
think
do.
I have pictures
I
of
don't.
that.
I don't. I was like,
Gio, you never went to Legoland?
I went to Legoland twice, but I was so young I don't remember.
But
I remember them.
I
It's just,
remember
like,
so...
Your best bet is to just like take a program and take a picture of it as like a 3D model, and then just lower the pixel count, and then replace each pixel with a brick.
With a brick. There you go, dude. I mean, yeah, you could do it. You'll be spending probably a couple $1,000s on
You'll be
pieces.
spending a lot of money.
But, you know, you make it big one day. Maybe $3,000 for a giant Lego Tahumata is not too bad. It's
You'll
but
need, like metal struts in it.
dude, to talk about Legoland, I have so many memories, specifically of just because I was so big into Bionicle, of that being my driving force to go when I was like really young, you know, like they're definitely, I know Thrawn, when you went all the time as a kid, you would tell me about all the things you could do there, and I like couldn't believe it. So finally, instead of doing like Disneyland, we, you know, because I had family that lived in Irvine, which is like maybe 10 minutes away from Anaheim from Disneyland. But like San Diego, that's another hour and a half, sometimes 2 hours south down the coast to go to. So, you know, flying into Palm Springs every spring break, going to Disneyland was like an hour, 2 hours. Legoland, you're talking like 4 hours. But because I had family in Irvine, they were like, we'll spend a night there and then do the rest of the trip down to San Diego. And like my experiences there were incredible because they had like that specific Bionicle like warehouse, like building area where the entire building is like Bionicle, like build your own stuff, like Bionicles for sale, Bionicle, like everything. I don't know. Do you remember that section, the Bionicle section?
That was back when the line was still in full swing. And
Oh,
I don't
yeah.
think they have that anymore.
Well,
I think the only thing that they still have Bionicle themed in that park is the Bionicle Blaster.
Right.
It's basically like the teacups at Disneyland.
No,
Wait,
yeah.
They got rid of that Technic roller coaster though.
I don't know. I haven't been to Legoland in years, and honestly, I think Lego should really revisit that park, and then try and update it for more AFOLs.
Yeah,
here's
I think
parts.
a main reason that happened though, you have to keep in mind, is that only recently did Lego buy all those back.
Yeah.
Because they were originally, they sold them off to a different company. So
Right.
only now does Lego have the actual rights to the parks again, which is why they're probably have a bunch planned. They just haven't done anything yet.
That's so
Like
interesting.
the pandemic stuff.
No, totally.
Probably, yeah. I definitely would think.
There was it was a Bionicle section. Bionicle Blaster came out in like 2003, 2003. They had these figures. I remember there were like rumors that they were going to take them out of the park. But then I watched like a vlog that someone made at Legoland like 2019, and the ride is still there, and the the Toa figures are still there. That's insane that they never like redesigned it for Hero Factory or Ninjago or whatever. And apparently the Lewa, like giant Lewa statue, is like falling into the ground just because over time, like it's sinking into the cement. Like, that's nuts.
It's just because the sculpture is super heavy.
The sculpture's heavy. Maybe the ground
I think they're
moves.
really heavy. They're like connected by metal rods and everything. So
No, there's like a photo or video online where literally like half of one of their foot is just like stuck into the cement now. It's like been going into. I don't know. That's wild to me. But the Bionicle section, it was like build your own Bionicle, and they would have the trailers for the movies playing. And there was like a giant Tahu figure, a Kopaka figure to like at the entrance that you would walk in. Was eventually, from my knowledge, repurposed into a like Hero Factory, build your own hero thing. This was like in 2009, 2010. And then they in the past 4 or 5 years made it like a Ninjago area where it's like goes into the lore and the characters and like all that stuff. Because they didn't get rid of any of the buildings. Dude, now that like I'm like full-time working like adult with a friend or two at least, I'd say, that would be down, I'm like gonna go to Legoland in the next year. I've got it, dude. No way. I have to, just to see those giant Toa Nuva statues again.
I mean, if you're lucky, you might see Pay Money Wubby. He's gonna be doing a live stream at Legoland.
What?
So, yeah, he's doing a Legoland live stream, and him and his mods are all gonna get drunk there together. So I'm really hyped for it.
Wait, then you should just go. Come on, they're on drive down.
Bro, I don't got the money for that. I don't know him well enough to just show up like that.
What if I do? I go, Thrawn, man, ThrawnsRevenge, yeah.
Yeah, the guy who sent you those little Lego chibis during your stream.
Yeah,
just show up.
They're like, hey man, from Biotalk.
He plans to do a Seattle meetup, so maybe I'll get to know him better when he does that.
Right.
Oh, sweet.
All right, people are talking in the chat. Talking about BioniCon. Oh yeah, I have a lot of this. Furryonicle Con. No. Greetings, Constorm Entertainment. Yeah. Okay. Carlos Maxwell. Yeah, stream looks clean. My roommate Nick says stream looks clean. Yeah, it does. It was a lot of work, but I figured it out. Bioscrawl, they had the statues of Tahuliwa and Gali Nuva placed there. Yeah. There, it was in 2009. Yeah, okay. Well, it makes sense. How about a speed run of Bionicle Heroes, like at the convention? That would be interesting. I don't know. It'd be a lot of sitting down and watching people play games, though. But people do that, right?
I mean, there are esports competitions for a reason.
Yeah, people will sit and watch.
People will sit and watch other people play video games.
There's
a whole demographic on YouTube for it, too.
I mean, shoot, it's a simple game of Coley, after all.
Right. Bioscrawl says...
We would get some like old PS2s, maybe some CRTs.
Let me check the chat. Bioscrawl says probably California or New York. Yeah, I definitely most likely would probably be that. I just feel like it. Okay, and then like people are like, how much do you think tickets would be? So if I were to do this, I think it'd be like the tickets would depend on how many people would be willing to, no matter what we figure out, like we figure out a date, obviously, and then would be able to put in and go in on and split basically a place to be at in like a specific hotel in a specific city or a house. I mean, I liked what you were saying eventually, Thrawn. Like, maybe one day I just have a big enough house, I just hold it.
I mean, what about there was that what was that like forum you used to be a part of, that like Bionicle forum? Does that still
BZ
exist?
Power.
BZ
Yeah,
Power?
BZ Power. Does that
BZ
still
Power
exist?
still exists.
Oh, yeah,
It still
man.
exists, but it is a
you
husk.
could do like something with BZ Power and like try to get the interest back in and see if you could get like some sort of
Right.
idea with them.
A lot of the people that were frequent on BZ Power have moved over to Reddit. So
Or you could do it with Reddit. Reddit might be possible as well. I mean, it's all about like finding the target audience, right? Like you could easily do it within a year if you found the audience to do it with, right? Like if Tumblr can do it and somehow manage it to not be literally the worst thing, kind of the worst thing, but not literally the worst thing. I think you could manage to do it with some Bionicle fans and get enough funding.
Yeah.
As long as you like keep your expectations at like an acceptable level, unlike
I think
them.
it would be. I would like to think it would be community funded.
It would definitely be community funded. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, literally,
Or like
100%.
a small Kickstarter, or like a GoFundMe or something, you know. Like
Yeah.
I think you could do it. Like couple $100, something like very basic and very minimum, and have like the rest be community driven. I think you could manage.
Right, but let's be realistic. It would depend, and I mean, yeah, obviously it would depend on where you live, because for me, if it's anywhere in the West Coast, or even let's say Nevada or like Vegas or something, I could drive.
Even, let's say Nashville.
Yeah.
Right.
I like these are places I could maybe drive out to, but obviously New York or vice versa. Someone lives in New York, it's out here. You will have to fly, like there's no doubt. And if you drive, it's going to be very expensive. So if anyone were to like have me guess, like gun ahead, what would you say? It's probably a couple $100 at the beginning of like what it would cost you to go out, find the place, stay at a place, and feed yourself. So it's not like it would be cheap. And Comic-Con isn't, BritCon isn't. Like when you put it all... BritCon, I guess, I was lucky because I lived in Seattle, so I literally drive home at the end of the night. But
there's so many cons though, right? It's
right.
Like, there's enough of them around the U.S. that you could find something.
Totally.
If you
Not
don't
to
have
mention
one, see
that,
if you have a lug nearby, and you could start one. Probably.
And yeah, you just need the demographic of people that that are interested in it. Like the NAMM show, the National Association of Music and Merchandising Convention, that happens every winter and every summer. That's been going on since I believe the early 20s.
Damn.
Right.
And I've only been able to attend to that. I've only been able to attend that convention once, back in 2018. The Winter NAMM show is in Anaheim, so I went to that one because it was closer.
Right.
And
it is close.
It's a 4-day long convention from Wednesday to Sunday.
Totally.
4 or 5 day long convention.
Clipsville Melbourne says, Zach, you need to scroll up what everyone said on the chat earlier. I mean, I looked through the chat. What did I miss something to talk about besides furries and a bunch of jokes about Hero Factory and a bunch of questions on? I mean,
pretty run of the mill stuff for a Bionicle chat.
No, yeah.
Yeah, basically.
All facts, no.
Odd Dude 21, just start going to all the cons and take them over with Bionicle. I mean, hey, that's the start. Would be probably BritCon. I could see myself maybe going to Brick Fair. It's definitely a little more out of the way, but Bricks by the Bay. Isn't Bricks by the Bay, Thrawn? Is that like at San Francisco?
That one's in San Jose.
San Jose.
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's basically where you're at, right, Geo? So.
Pretty close.
Yeah, I could see
I
it
won't
working.
disclose my exact location because it's
totally.
the internet.
Let's see. Who do we have?
But I have met you before, so in like DMs, I might.
I'm taking a look where Bricks by the Bay is exactly.
Because the Bay is the Bay Area, you know. I'm assuming.
Yeah. And it usually is held in San Jose. I would say particularly in Cupertino or something like that.
Right.
Okay, I'm checking past events. Where was the 20?
Yeah.
2019 Bricks by the Bay.
Either they saw something or
Held in Fremont,
they
California.
might have seen something.
Fremont. Okay,
I'll go
so
check
it's
it out.
northeast San Jose.
Yeah. Santa Clara Convention Center in the heart of Silicon Valley.
Yeah. Santa Clara Convention Center. It would still be in like the Santa Clara County, where San Jose is.
Totally.
Yeah, so there's definitely like close to you that you could easily get a hold of.
Yeah. I'm incredibly introverted and I have social anxiety, so I don't think I would be able to network that well. Like,
No, yeah.
In the underground metal community, people thought I was weird because I was introverted.
Yeah,
Well,
man.
that's why
in
you need
metal,
to go
in metal,
out
people are
and
so
talk with
outgoing.
people.
It's crazy. Like just going to house shows, the amount of like talking.
I just want to sit back, play music, not have to talk to anybody. But then again, you have to talk to somebody. You have to talk to people and network with people in order to get big in the area. And the whole underground music scene in the area is so cutthroat and so competitive that it's almost not even worth it to go over here anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll see. I don't know. Times
Like, we
are
want to be
changing.
the next Metallica. We want to be the next Slayer. Like you're never.
Yeah,
gonna be
man.
Yeah, of course.
that. Never gonna be that.
Free
Right?
the band. You can do it. Just go all 2006. It'll be
Free
all
the
right.
band.
Exactamento, my fellow compatriot.
Let's see. Someone said, Chronisia Official, good to see you here, man. Says, hey, Zach, just joined. I'm not too familiar with how this BioniCon thing could work. Can you explain? I think I just basically got the gist of it there. You know, I'll edit some of this live stream to put together highlights of what we said. But it's a thing to think about, no doubt. Chris, or the Gaming Hawk, will it be awesome? Yeah, it'd definitely be nice to talk to people in person about everything. Chris Houston says, as long as Bionicle Con isn't going to be anything like Dash Con, I'm good. What's Dash?
I think we could stay far away from DashCon. We'll be fine.
What's that?
Yeah.
DashCon was Tumblr's failure.
Oh, there's people.
If you haven't seen Internet Historian's video on DashCon, I'd recommend watching it. It's a mess.
Is it a
That
mess?
and Rainforest.
Is it a
Rainforest.
mess?
Okay, but Rainforest is different.
Is it a mess because too many people showed up or too little showed up?
It was a mess because they expected so much more from what they had that they had to ask the people who were there to start funding the debt that they started to rack up. And they think that
Oh
it
my
had something to
God.
do with the people who started the event were actually like laundering the money somewhere else, which is why they would like cost so much. Like it was a mess. It was a mess.
Oh
I'd
my
recommend watching the video.
God.
Yeah, the ball pit that like people peed in. Yeah, I saw the stories.
Oh
I
my
saw the
God.
stories.
I don't think that would happen. I think we'd be good.
I don't think it would. I think you would have enough hopefully mature.
Is someone watching chickens or something?
We're talking about
Yeah,
the
I
Bionicle community.
Yes, I'm sorry about that. I am just doing my average Pomatoran thing and taking care of livestock.
Are you literally taking care of chickens right now? That's
Yes,
awesome.
I am. This is the way of the Bionicle, my guy.
That's awesome, dude. Oh my God.
Yeah,
That's,
I live on a farm.
That's great, dude. That's, oh my
Yeah.
God.
Be pitch
Hey,
black
come
where
on.
you are.
Come on, come on over here, my Seattle friends. Let's go ahead and
You're
enjoy some chickens and talk about Bionicle.
You're literally Pomatoran, like out doing work.
And yet his self-mock is a toe of ice, ironically.
Let's see. Clips of Snowboard said, I said private meeting, story writer or voice actor or game developer. You never know. A lot of those people that are involved with Bionicle are super busy with their own things, and seeing how well like a Zoom call, Skype call, whatever you want to call it, that like TTV did with Creative Capers, with Christian Faber, I feel like it would be similar unto that, where if we had a convention where it's in-person meeting, I doubt even anyone the likes of like Greg Farsty or anyone, voice actors especially, would like go out of their way to do that. You know, they have to be paid to do something like that, I feel like, most likely.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, but
Like Scott McNeil or Lee Tokar, they're all doing stuff for other kids shows.
oh yeah. I could see maybe like at this, let's quote unquote, like an in-person meetup or convention, we could maybe like all of us get on a Zoom call and like have them, you know, project it up, and we all get to each take a turn at like asking a question for an hour or something, you know, maybe that. But like as far as in person, I don't think so. Even BrickCon and Brick Fair, you know, Greg Farsty apparently, like, he would go to Brick Fair, but actually it was more likely you'd see him at a Comic-Con, because since he was a part of the comics and everything, like, he would go to those. A lot of those convention photos you've seen of Greg Farsty were from like Comic-Cons. I think 1 or 2 Brick Fairs, because he lives in Connecticut and he was closer to Virginia. But that's, you know, when I went to BrickCon, the most famous people you're going to find at BrickCon, I would say, the most famous people you're going to find at BrickCon are, like, some of the people that were on, like, the LEGO Masters show. So, like, Thrawn, what's the guy's name? The male guy, not the host, but the one opposite of the lady who is on that show. What's his name? So, on LEGO Masters, there's the guy and the girl that are, like, from the LEGO team. Right?
Oh, one of the judges?
Yeah, the judges. Like, that guy I've seen at BrickCon. You know, like, they send people from the LEGO company. Not any...
Yeah, they do.
Not any faces you might, like, totally recognize firsthand at a BrickCon. But they usually come...
Last BrickCon, the CEO sent a video.
Wow, no way.
Yeah. It was dope.
Literally,
Yeah,
that's epic. Oh my god. I mean,
yeah, LEGO sends like a bunch of LEGO representatives to these events. Like,
the closest I remember, like, was like, yeah, LEGO reps would come. That guy who's like one of the judges on LEGO Masters came, and they were like showcasing some new LEGO theme that was gonna come out that year at like the LEGO table. Like, I'm sure they do similar things at Brick Fair. But
I mean, don't forget that from like LEGO Masters, the TV show, there was also Boone, because he works with
right.
God, what is their publication? Beyond Brick, yeah, Beyond the Brick, because he works for them.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And they're always at BrickCon, you know, videotaping and stuff.
Oh man, that's so cool. Like, the people who've been on LEGO Masters now, if they go to a BrickCon or Brick Fair, they're straight up celebrities.
I mean, kind of, yeah.
YouTube celebrities, but that's... Like, YouTube celebrities are basically like the celebrities of the 21st century.
Right, but like, these are people that were straight up on like Fox TV, like a 5-year-old, 6-year-old who's been watching LEGO Masters in quarantine with like their parents. If they like attend BrickCon, that let's say it happens this fall, Mark and Boone are there, Tyler and Amy are there. It's like they're straight up, like, they've been on like network television. Like, that's bigger than YouTube, you know? Like, that's wild. That's why this idea...
Network television's kind of on the wane.
That's true.
Of the digital age, and
it's still a thing.
Make your own stuff, like, even if it is like cringe. If I mean, like, yeah, but I don't think that that Brickmasters would take time to talk about Bionicle stuff, because they're Brick Masters, not Bionicle Masters.
Right.
Not to mention that this is the Bionicle community we're talking about. We're talking about some toxic-ass individuals here.
Not as toxic as Star Wars.
Well,
Star Wars makes it happen. I think Star Wars makes it happen.
There's still the
I'm not
woman
saying
who,
I'm
like,
not saying the
builds-
entire Bionicle community. I'm not saying the entire Bionicle community here. I love you guys, but there are a lot of toxic people. There are people that
Right.
have children and they're freaking 25, 30 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, I feel like if it came down, I mean, these people wouldn't do it because they hide behind their keyboard or whatever, but if it came down to like an in-person encounter, it'd be different than like some Star Wars fans that are like, you know, almost like in their 50s or something. And like, I've heard like at certain Star Wars conventions, like it gets heated and people like get in crazy fights in person. I feel like Bionicle fans, even those that maybe like seemed like terrible online, like in reality, I think would loosen up a bit just because of the fact that there's no one like us. And it's kind of like, if you're being the dick, everyone's like, dude, why are you know?
I think another issue with the Star Wars community is in a really bad spot right now. So like
Right.
Bionicle hasn't been touched, right? So you guys get to do whatever you want. Where like Star Wars is more like there's just a huge fraction of people who are upset with Star Wars and a huge fraction of people who are super into it,
No, yeah.
and that causes problems.
I could
Yeah.
see...
It's a bigger split than the Holdo maneuver.
Yeah, I'd say that's pretty good. I haven't heard that one. Oh my god. Yeah, I'd say I don't know. I wouldn't be too worried about any one negative. But then again, yeah, I don't know. I've seen on like 1 out of 50 interactions with like Bionicle fans online. It's been like someone who's just like an ass. But that's like pretty. I don't know. That was like when actually. For me, that was like more like when I just started doing YouTube again 2 months ago. And then all of a sudden, literally, like they all disappeared. And maybe I get one every 2 or 3 weeks in a weird offside comment. But it's just like it's attitude. I've never feel like they're like straight up trying to like give me like Coastal Melbourne is saying brother from another brick, or any YouTube users a lot like him will get death threats and stuff. Like, I've never received that. Like, even in my entire time on Legomation Studio, I never received anything like that bad, you know? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Well, you know, as long as you keep a good image, you know, and plus you're a good guy, so...
People that do that anyway are still cowards, and they're the scum of the earth.
Oh, yeah, still, too. It's kind of wild. The Gaming Hawk says, I want it to be in Alabama. I don't know. If for some reason, like, there were 2,000 Bionicle fans in Alabama, more than any state in the United States, maybe. But that's where my dad grew up, and my, like, grandma still lives in Birmingham, Alabama. So if I'm ever in the area, Gaming Hawk, maybe I'll hit you up. Sposenju says, finally able to sit down and listen. What's going on, man? All right, 18 concurrent viewers. That's great. Let's see. Any other topics or questions about what we're talking about? People want to write in. We've been going, oh, nice. A little over an hour. That's awesome. Talking just about all things. Aslan A, good to see you here. I think I said, yeah, Carlos Maxwell. Constorm, I think, is still listening in. Anyone else's opinions on this topic? Or, if anything, let me see if anyone... Let's see how's the Discord looking? I mean, we're pretty much full up. This is pretty good. You know, it's probably not gonna happen today, but I like was super close to having had LJ on the other day. Would you wait, Geo? You were there for that, right?
Yeah.
Had you ever talked to him ever?
I used to work with him.
Yeah.
2 or 3 months.
That's cool.
And then the stuff with Kahi happened, and then
right.
I mean, I was just sick of it, and I left.
I mean, that's honestly, I found it really cool of him to have like shown up even for that moment and like hang out and talk. You know, he was like, "Oh, I was trying to look into joining," but I guess once I get a better like often schedule, I think Thursdays have been working for most of us.
We just need to plan things in advance if you wanted to get him on.
Yeah, or really anyone. Totally. And it's what?
Like, you need to get a hold of him like maybe a week or 2 beforehand.
No, yeah, that's what I should do. Who knows?
And then follow up on that like a few days before.
Yeah, I'm in talk
before it happens.
I'm trying to get in talks with a lot of other like Lego YouTubers. You see what happened with Lego Jang, like Jang Bricks, like how he had to like put out this video saying that even though he has 1.28 million subscribers,
he's cutting his old
channel. Jang is like cutting it, and it's like my YouTube channel's like a year or 2 older than his, Like, I don't want to have to freaking do that, but like maybe because bro, so many people have told me like BioTube TV is like a big example, says like he gets unsubscribed like just automatically for some reason. And it's like this weird thing that's happening with
maybe, I don't know.
with like old YouTube
So-
channels.
Jang is cutting his old YouTube channel. Is he gonna keep it up? or is
He's
he gonna-
keeping it up.
He's keeping it up, but he's not gonna post on it anymore because it's
Yeah.
so old that it's starting to bug with YouTube system.
Okay.
Which is-
that's why.
That's crazy.
so-
Like that shouldn't be a thing. The channel being
Yeah, but
old
it's,
bugs.
It's YouTube.
Oh,
I've
that's
had this. I've had my channel since 2008.
yeah, same.
So- and it's still the same YouTube channel. Like it started off as something like really cringe because I was 12 at the time. Like
Yeah.
it's gonna be cringe if you're starting something when you're 12. So
It was like half of YouTube at the time too. Like I'd say adults and kids were on it pretty 50-50 at the beginning, like or high schoolers at the most. That's so like so many people like when YouTube started above the age like 30 were probably like, what the heck like is this? Like I have no need. You know, that's where you got all the like Nigahiga Smosh like people of the world, all these like high school kids that were like just getting into it because they still had all this time, you know.
the channels that lost their luster because they got burnt out about. fundraising.
Dude, a lot of old YouTube channels like those from like the like 2000, I'd say 6s to 2009, like didn't just like get burnt out, but they like signed contracts with companies that it was such a new thing at the time. They didn't exactly know what they were doing. And, you know, they're 18, 19, they're young and, you know, just trying to like do whatever they think will
got
give them
used,
success.
yeah.
And they got used, signed away their property, you know, like that happened
That's
to
what
a
happened-
lot of
that's
people.
What happened with Smosh. That's
Yeah.
What happened with Smosh. And it also happened with Game Theory. They were
Yeah.
owned by the same company. They were owned by the same people. I think
Right.
Game Theory is independent, and now Smosh is like part of Mythical Entertainment with Rhett and Link.
It's nuts, dude. Like that, it's so interesting. Like the early days, how much it like changed and how much like people just got like it was so different back then, man. Pretty nutty. But yeah, that's about Lego Jang. Pretty much, he's like keeping all of his old videos up. He's gonna still live stream and occasionally post stuff on his main channel, but his reviews are gonna like go up on this new just purely review channel that he's doing.
Yeah.
But like someone like him who has 1.28 million was able to get like 30-40K in 2 days over to that channel. If I were to be like, yo, I'm creating a new YouTube channel because the old YouTube is like messing with me, I'd get like
Yeah, screwing it up.
Maybe 50 people.
maybe 200. I actually think I'd get like 150 to 200, you know. But that's like after a week of trying, it's like, oh, it's almost not even worth it.
I
But
haven't
so
posted a video in almost a month and a half.
well,
Yeah,
that's
I
good.
haven't made a YouTube video in a while.
It's when you say like I haven't made a YouTube video in like 2-3 years that like you could get screwed by the way the like platform works. But for me, I was so lucky. I've talked about this numerous times. I knew people that were like big on YouTube, specifically a lot of girls in college that said like in high school, yeah, I posted all the time, like, you know, my makeup tutorials and stuff. And throughout college, they would just post maybe once a year and then stopped for 2 or 3 years. Graduated a year in LA, were like, oh, maybe I should start YouTube again on the side. All their ad revenue, all their partnership was taken away because their videos just within the algorithm of YouTube weren't being consistently watched. And whereas mine, because they're like these Bionicle, like classic Lego reviews, like people to this day, collectors especially, and like fans are still watching them and like consuming the content. So I had none of my rights as like a partner revoked, none of my ad potential taken away. So I was like fortunate, at least in that regard, amongst a lot of YouTube like people who were like, you know, I do 2-3 years without posting. A lot of them get really screwed over. So say, I guess I'm lucky on that point.
For me, like, I'm at a point now where I can't stop like making like mocks every single week, but not just like any average mocks. I always had to keep like making the next build better than the last, which is a very difficult thing to do, especially within a 1 week period, you know, because every build becomes more heavily engineered. There's a lot of like functions and so forth. But not only that, but I also had to factor in, you know, the play testing of it, because what if somebody wants to build it you know, if they build it, you know, I don't want them to have like a fragile figure in hand.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know, so, and me starting to like slow down just slightly on like posting videos weekly. It's impacting me heavily because like the views are just going down because it's like, well, he's not posting anything new. I might as well just
Yeah, man.
Either
tamper up.
unsubscribe or move somewhere else.
Yeah, and it's like, oh no, you know, so it's
It was
rough,
like
man.
last year when the lockdowns were still in full swing. Like, yeah, I wouldn't make a new video every single week, but now with like my full-time job is back, and I kind of want to do something for myself again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And at times it kind of felt like my YouTube channel was kind of being a bit of a burden, and my last stop motion was kind of a big catalyst to that. It was a lot of fun. It was a lot of fun to make a Bionicle stop motion, but man, I'm a massive procrastinator, and I was supposed to take like 2 months to film and animate and everything. Instead, I took a month and a half just doing nothing, and then I spent like the last week before it went up to film for like 4 hours and animate and edit at the same time.
Right.
And that's what burnt me out.
That's what some,
burnt me out.
but at least you did it, and you can say you did it and try it, dude. There's so many things
And I
that
got it out on time.
there's
I got it out on time.
like since I've come back to YouTube, and I'm not tossing shade at all, because I think anyone who's trying to go at something creative should. But like Geo, I agree. Like in general, humans, we are like lazy, and like I specifically have had projects that I've never finished or projects I've promised, especially when I was big on YouTube. But like, man, like when I came back, I'd say like 2 or 3 people so far has like reached out about a series they're making, and while like the one Geo you guys are doing has a lot of possibility and potential behind it, and people hard at work, you know, there are other people who've reached out to me that are like, oh yeah, 2022 I'm gonna release this, 2023 I'm gonna release this, and like I want to help, dude, I want to provide my voice, I want to do that. But it's like, really, like that's, I don't know if anyone understands how big of an undertaking it is to one, like get a cast together, record voices, but to animate is in stop motion.
Bro,
even the pros.
Ignition 3 is an entirely different beast. There's because like it was like what I was doing for my stuff, that was all me, and then I had some other people doing voices. Like everything else was all me. Ignition 3 is like a team of animators and script writers. It's like any modern TV show.
Yeah.
At this point,
But it basically is.
The biggest difference is we're not getting paid for this.
Nope.
Which is a
And let me
big
tell you,
difference.
Working on the animation for Ignition 3 does take a lot of time.
No,
I
it's
finished the script for one of the filler sections of the 3rd episode.
right. I will say, I feel like, especially if like you guys asked like Noah Productions to like be in the clear for making the series that you're making and everything, like he should, I know it's like he has other things going on, but like do his part to almost help make sure everyone knows about it, because dude, those videos he's made, like while you can say some things might be dated or like it's not the best stop motion in the world, they're accurate.
He at least got it done.
They're accurate to the books. He got it done. Literally every line of dialogue, actions that happen, call it what it is production value wise, but he got it done. And they have like 500,000 views each, a lot of them. So it's like, if you guys could garner that audience and start a Patreon or something where people are donating consistently and getting some sort of content pushed out, then I could see a way where at least it's maybe paying for itself. But you're not making money, and it is definitely an expensive process with time and just things that you have to do, no doubt.
Yeah.
So
Like 3D printers have made the process a little easier.
Right.
Using 3D printed parts. But the whole process, like we have people living all over the world for doing a project like as small as Ignition 3.
Totally.
Oh my god, the lore is fantastic. Being a scriptwriter, I have to look at the source material in order to figure out what I'm gonna write.
yeah.
And I didn't really like some of the like during like the Tobe Duck and Makuta Tridax fight in the raid on Deathstrahl, which I'm also working on. right after or right before Toadduck kills Tridex. Spoiler alert. It's been out for 12 years. It's kind of like right before Toadduck kills Tridex, he goes on this massive monologue. It's like, God, just kill him already.
Yeah.
So we have to shorten down some of what Greg wrote in order to make it flow a lot nicer.
I really, maybe literally starting like ASAP almost. It's too bad there aren't like really good audiobooks of all the Bionicle books, but like I need to like go back and like listen to everything. Especially like I remember a lot of the first like 2 or 3 books. Actually, Thrawn, I remember you came to like in elementary school, you like were walking through the halls with like the like Trial of the Tahu covered first like not Bionicle novel.
Oh yeah.
Your mom was like,
time ago.
your mom was like, this is how I get my boy to read. Like, this is he won't read much, but he'll read this. And my mom's eyes lit up and she's like, whoa, well, hold up. And she bought me because like, that's when you're a parent. You're like, oh, make sure your kid reads. Make sure your kid reads. Like, that was such a thing I remember. And those first 2 or 3 books I remember a lot. Was it C.H. Hopko or whatever was like the writer on those books?
Something like that.
Yeah, and then I remember a lot of the Metro Nui stuff, but because for some reason, I don't know if it was more recent or because I was even more big into Bionicle 2006, 2007, 2008. Like those books I read so quickly that I forget a lot about the intricate parts. I remember so much with like, especially Bionicle Adventures, like the Metro Nui saga. Like there were just an entire book dedicated to just one half of the Toa team, 3 Toa on these deep missions with like just immense amounts of moments of just like dialogue, triumphs and failures, like so many details that like my connecting point was to you, Gio. What you're saying is like reading up on the lore. It's like so much there to like create content with and like to, you know, adapt into from just this material that's out there. It's actually pretty insane how dense it is. People don't believe me.
Yeah.
I'll tell my friend.
I say it's kind of like the Lord of the Rings of Lego themes.
Dude, I tell my friends
Even before Lego made
Right.
the Lord of the Rings of Lego themes. Like
I've
lore-wise, it's Lego's like most complex and dense
Right. I've told my friends that. I'm like,
project.
they're like, you know, they're like, I get it, like, Bionicle's cool. You have, like, the characters. There were some movies. But they're like, why? How is it that you're so into it? And I explain, like, I don't know how to exactly explain it to you other than, like, yeah, Marvel Comics is big. Star Wars, like, you know, it's huge canon. But you could compare a lot of it to those, like, franchises. It gets that deep. Like, there are that many characters, that much history. Like, it's wild. It's just, like, all in these, like, novels that were released over years and years that, like, no one even really, like, even the casual Bionicle fans knew about. My roommates, like, I saw, you know, the Inika commercials with All American Rejects, Move Along. But he's like, I had no idea, one, that there was a comic book, probably because he didn't have, like, Lego Magazine, which is how you would get them. But then, two,
Most
like...
people didn't actually have
Right?
a good outlet for the lore.
No,
Other than
totally.
the toys. Oh, and they heard the movies came out. And so...
It's wild, dude. The
I
books.
played the games a lot
There are
when
even
I was
there are
younger.
even people that
Yeah.
thought that the movies were coming out like to help out just the whole entire line, which that's originally what they were.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
then
yeah.
2006 never got a movie.
And
it would've been
2007 never
awesome.
got a movie.
Oh, it would have been amazing.
It would have been
if they-
amazing to see those like 2006 to 2008 get movies. Like they would just that was like before the MCU was a thing.
Yeah, Thrawn, the
So-
one thing about, like, the games is really the only Bionicle game that is pretty canon, for the most part, is the Machinui Online game, which is, like, the point-and-click flash animation game, which all Bionicle fans say still is pretty much number one. Because all the other ones, like, I would say...
Like some of the processes on like how the gameplay is are a little dated, but the animation is still as crisp as ever.
Yeah.
I would say so anyway. I
I
might
played
want to
the,
do
I
another.
played the
I might want to do
Matori.
another game through. I might want to do another playthrough of Monog 1, maybe a playthrough of Monog 2. Except I hate how grindy that game is, and how much of a buggy mess it is.
Yeah. The thing about the
had to-
Bionicle video games is they're just lacking in lore. They're totally not true.
What?
Like, they're lacking in lore.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like they're just not true. like, let's say, I don't know if you've played, like, I mean, I'm sure Thrawn, the one you're talking about, is like, it's the one with, like, you get Takanuva at the end, you become like the Toa of Light. A big thing is that it's not really paying attention to the story. These games were essentially, I don't want to say an afterthought, but Lego was like, they gave designs to a company and were like, this is kind of the characters, but there really was,
Yeah.
that was the problem. Is, and some of the games are good, like Bionicle Heroes is good, like as far as just kind of general gameplay, but like villains are heroes or heroes are villains, or half the builds aren't like how they actually are. It's so weird. Bionicle's so weird.
But Star Wars does that too, though, right? Like a lot of the games
Yeah.
nowadays aren't canon, or like a lot of them were never considered canon. They're still good games. They're still fun.
Yeah. Like Lego Star Wars, the Lego video game, the complete saga is like
The Skywalker
one of the
saga
best.
even.
Yeah. I mean, those are so much fun to play.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the few games that I've actually 100%ed. You know, that's how much fun I had playing those games.
Yeah, they're nostalgic. I think the other night, or not the other night, it was like 2 months ago when I was first starting YouTube, I live streamed me playing Bionicle the game, the 2003. And like, I could never get past stuff when I was a kid because it's so difficult. It's like such a tedious game, but it's quick. And I think I finished it in like 5 hours or so. But like, I've seen a speed run.
If you know how to play games, then it's a really
Oh.
easy time. But when
Well,
you're
for
a kid,
me,
when you're a kid, you don't know how to play games. So like some of the easiest stuff now would be the most infuriating thing. Like
Yeah.
I had the Bionicle 2003 game. I could not get over a jumping puzzle as Tahu. Like no matter what I did, and it was mostly just me doing the same thing over and over. I was what, 6?
Yeah.
I was already insane at that time, so it was kind of like, oh, it's just why is it not doing anything? Like, it's whatever. But
yeah, for me, like a funny thing about like Bionicle the game is that I had it for the PlayStation 2, but I had no memory card. So I always had to keep speed running to finish the game, you know, before I had to go to bed because my mom wanted me to go to bed at a certain time. So, and this was when I was like really young, you know, and I would always keep like trying to speed run it every single time, and I always had to stop right when I have to do the Tahu surf race with Karak. And
Yeah,
which was the most annoyingest level. I think it's just as annoying as the Leo level.
I didn't.
Specific-
Once I rage quit from that game, like I never came back to it, and my dad's original Xbox doesn't exactly work anymore. So.
Oh man, I was determined though. I wanted to finish that, and then my mom finally realized, oh, maybe I should get my son a memory card.
I think I've seen someone play the game in like an hour 45 minutes, under 2 hours. I've seen like a speed run online. Maybe it was less.
You spend like 3 hours like trying to get up to the place where you rage quit the last time, and then you do it once, and then he's like, "Son, time to go to bed." It's like, crap.
All right, let's take some of the chat here. So, okay, R.I.P. Pterodax. Tridax. Yeah, that's what you were referencing. Tobda cannot shut up prior to killing Tridax. Wow, Bioscrawl really knows his stuff. Sposendra, oh for sure, even though it was a downfall of deepness and lore is what made Bionicle. I agree. Aslan A says, I remember seeing a copy of Tale the Toa in my elementary school library, but I got into Bionicle around 2007 or 8 and didn't recognize Tahu Mata on the cover. Did it not say Bionicle, though, on it or on the side? Oh, man. I skimmed the book and was like, where's Mata Nui? Oh, because you got it in 2008. Yeah. That's so funny. Yeah, I'm sure for some kids that got into it late, they're like, oh my god, there's all this history, all this lore. Like, they have no idea. That's what's so tough about this series, man, is it's there. You just have to find it. And when it's, like, targeted at kids, it's hard to get kids themselves to, like, look deep.
When it's a serialized theme, it's hard to get in when you're, like halfway through.
CMOS says people complain about Bionicle's complexity, but there are shonen anime that are the same, if not more. Right,
There's
Gia?
shonen animes that are just as complex, if not more.
True. Yeah, One Piece.
But those are so successful. It's like, come on.
I guess.
Aslan A says, no, Akar, Akina, or the other Gotorian left me confused. Wow, yeah, because it was years later until I got back into the theme. That's so interesting. Clips Films Melbourne says, Lego Clone Wars game, there's some nitpicks I found. The Clone Troopers have 2005 torsos, though some have animated. That's interesting. I had that game. Thrawn, did you play the Lego Clone Wars game too as well?
The Lego Clone Wars?
There was like Lego Star Wars, which is the prequels, then Lego Star Wars, the original saga, which was the originals, and then right? Then Lego Star Wars, the complete saga, which was like 2006, which was like all six.
I played the complete.
Dude, I still play that. And then they released Lego Clone Wars, which was like based off of like 15, 20 different episodes from the show. And it was actually not a bad game as far as like, there was still some story elements for sure. It's not like as classic as, you know, the movies. But you could like command armies of clone troopers or armies of droids, and you'd have little bases that you could go to.
I actually have that game in my Steam library.
It's not that bad. It's pretty fun. Like, you can build armies and like send them out to do things, and it's about taking down bases. It's like large scale battles. It's definitely, it's so different from like Lego Star Wars video games as we know them. But yeah, it's
Nowadays, but
That game.
But
Yeah.
the Clone Wars game, it still radiates like the early TNT games.
I had it on
style.
Nintendo
All the
Wii.
characters- All the characters are mumbling. You can't. They're not talking, but they're mumbling.
That's my favorite. Apparently they're not going to
love
do
the
that,
grunts.
but I like the grunts. There was this whole post when they announced that they were doing Skywalker Saga, like the 9-film Lego Star Wars video game. They were like, "Oh, we're gonna keep the grunt. We're gonna bring the grunts back and everything." And then someone was like, "Oh no, that was like a meme. That was a lie." I'm like, "Dude, what? I'd prefer that than the like voice cast. You know, the original voices, you know, tossed in."
They
But
brought in the original actors to do
Well,
voices over
I
again.
not even. I think they're literally clipping out from the movies the actors.
Like when it comes to the Force Awakens, they got in like Adam Driver and maybe even Daisy Ridley.
That's
to do
true.
A few extra lines because
Yeah.
the gameplay in that game, it had them do like the First Order side of what was happening on
No, yeah, it's actually a good game.
Maz Kanata's planet.
It's a fun game. Let's see. Will there be Journey to One Makuta for sale on a table? Like, well,
One Makuta was never a set. It was a combiner. made by
I guess what Gaming Hawk is saying, like at a convention, would anyone have that built? Yeah, potentially. You don't know.
maybe.
Cliffsville, Melbourne.
Maybe.
Right now, the Skywalker Saga. Okay, has a game that they want to polish. No, dude, I've been waiting for this film for a year now. Or not the film, for the game. The, like, Skywalker Saga Lego Star Wars game. My roommate and I are like, the moment we get it, we're getting on Twitch because it's going to be a huge, you know? And we're just going to be like, make it on Twitch playing that game, you know? Why not?
What platform would you be getting it for?
You know, it depends. Because if we wanted to Twitch, we would almost need to have it on his PC. And then him and I have, like, PS4 controllers. That's probably how we
Yeah.
would do it.
PC controllers? Like you could
No,
use
we would
an
have-
Xbox One controller.
No, we would have PS4 controllers. Yeah.
PS4 controllers. Okay.
Yeah.
But
Because
even still, you can use like your console controllers.
Oh, yeah.
On a PC.
Yep.
can you use Switch on a PC? Can you use Switch controllers though?
No,
I'm
Switch
not-
is one
Yeah,
that is not.
that's what I thought.
PS4 and Xbox can.
I
Yeah.
usually stick to Microsoft products because they can be really easily compatible with each other.
Right.
This is a wireless controller, but I usually just plug it in via USB because it's much
Oh,
more
yeah.
reliable than Bluetooth. Way more
Yeah.
reliable.
That's how I played the Fallen Order. That's how I like my friend got on his PC and I just did
I would
PS4.
stay, but I'm gonna let other people hop in so I don't
We got
waste the
Jaeger.
spot. Yeah.
waiting.
No problem.
All right.
Awesome,
I know
dude.
I
y'all.
talk a lot. Too.
Yeah.
All right. Peace out, y'all.
Cool. I will go for like another half hour, so make it 2 hours.
All right. Bye bye.
Yeah, thanks for being here, Thrawn. And boom. We got, hopefully Jaeger knows, and it's not like a big surprise. So, how's it going? So what was I talking about? What was I talking about?
Skywalker Saga.
Oh, yeah.
I was watching the stream and I even commented a few times. I must have been there for like a couple hours, possibly. I don't know.
It's only been an hour, 20 minutes. That's cool. So what was I saying? Skywalker Saga. Yeah. So, that's my idea is PS4 controllers, and I'm gonna like play it with my friend. We've been waiting forever. It's like, it's what is, I think Clinsel Milburn was saying, yeah, they're trying to polish it and make it perfect. They've had to push the date like 3 or 4 times, but as long as they don't have what's,
Cyberpunk 2077
yeah,
this
don't
game.
cyberpunk it for sure. Bioscral says, yeah, Bionicle Heroes, while kind of lacking in lore, was decently fun. Bionicle the game didn't really do the best at tying the lore together, but it was still kind of fun to play despite its bugs. For sure, I can agree with that. And that's probably the next game that I'm going to play once I get it downloaded, is just because, we'll see. I played like a couple levels as a kid. I never finished the game. Cliff Films Melbourne says, the most accurate cutscene in Lego Incredibles, Syndrome didn't die. Oh, really? But it should have ended style Syndrome. Jack beats up Syndrome and picks up Syndrome's hairpiece. Yeah, well, it's Lego video games. They somewhat have to kind of like veer it more towards PG for sure. The Gaming Hawk says, will there be tables for vendors? Again, yeah, probably not. Like, ideally, if it was like, the more I think about it after having our conversation we've had on this live show, it'd most likely be kind of a more of a meetup.
A hangout.
The real convention would be, yeah, Geo's right, like a hangout. But like the Gaming Hawk, I guess what I'd say is, when it comes to vendors, what we would do is at a BrickCon, Brick Fair, Bricks by the Bay, which is like Virginia, Seattle,
hypothetical
San Francisco.
If it got as big as that.
If it got as big as that, but also we could just go to those said conventions and make them pseudo Bionicle conventions within it, and there are always vendors there. People selling Bionicle and Lego pieces. That's always a thing. And like every year I go to BrickCon, they'll have old Bionicle sets or Lego Star Wars sets that they are selling. So I don't think there would be vendors at a specific BionicCon, like definitely not. But that's why I think going to any of those sort of conventions is a good way to kind of exhibit that sort of part of like an exhibition or whatever you'd say. Chugnotic says, no PS mem chip, such a classic memory. Aslan says,
Is that a pun?
I don't know. Cliffsville Melbourne. Oh, okay, yeah. You're talking more about the Lego Incredibles and how they hide certain things. Yeah. Jaeger, it looks like you wrote in. I actually played the game. That was the Lego Star Wars Clone Wars game we were talking about.
Yeah.
Do you remember that game? Yeah.
I remember playing. I actually played it like a few years after it released. My dad got it. I think I don't remember how I got it. We had it for 360, and personally, I think it's better than the other two classic
Wow.
games. And
Really?
And, because of that, I'm probably gonna be hunted down by.
Well, if you like setting up giant like battle scenarios, I could definitely see why someone would prefer it. Space Skillet says, I remember playing Lego Clone Wars when I was older, and the gameplay was very different, but still fun. It was back when Lego games still had mumbles to it. Yeah, the grunts and mumbles in Lego games really helped the slapstick humor of the cutscenes. I agree, dude. I hope they keep that for the new one. We'll see. Bioscrawl says, how do you not include grunt sounds in a Lego Star Wars game? Exactly. This is a sin. It's a criminal. I know, but it's like new people that they have to...
They should probably have the best of both worlds. Like, if they want to have the people that want to have the dialogue, they should have an option for that.
Yeah, like in Rayman 2, like the Rayman 2 Revolution on PS2, they had did 40 voices dialogue, but like there was a port on PlayStation 1 that only had like the dialogue and it was garbage. But in the PS2 version, they had the option of doing like the mumble jumble stuff.
Right. No, totally. That's crazy that you know like PS2 games too, because of like how young you are. You still know all that stuff. That's pretty good, dude.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was too young to remember AOL dial-up, but I still know what it is.
Did you have AOL like Messenger, Instant Messenger? Oh, see, that was how I talked to. That was like the Discord for old Bio YouTube. At least for a while, it was Skype. Eventually, it was Skype. But like AOL Messenger was how I talked to a handful of people that I was close to.
AOL Messenger basically turned what. It was basically like the pioneer of what is Discord today.
Or MSN Messenger, there was that too.
Like AOL, MSN, but then you got Skype, and then Skype was just awful for playing games.
Yeah, it did not
that's
work.
That's why Discord started up. So
no, dude, Discord's huge now. A lot of companies I know use it. Like they were using Zoom at the beginning of the pandemic, and now it's like it's all Discord. They like that's their thing.
Zoom for me is way too sketchy.
Right, and then Slack too. Slack was a thing companies were using, but now Discord basically allows that with being able to have moderators, private rooms, public rooms, like all. Yeah. It's like a really good way to do just anything.
Discord is so much better than the rest.
It's nuts. It was made for this.
Yeah, I don't know why people just didn't just stick with Discord. What did they have to go to?
Right.
Zoom? I mean, like honestly.
It was because it was the first thing they saw.
Oh yeah. Totally. Aslan says I'd love to see some trading or mask painting kind of stuff going on. Dude, I wouldn't doubt it. People trade at normal conventions all the time. BrickCon, BrickFair, like that's people do that all the time. Like that's even like there was the C-Lug, which is the Seattle Lego AFOL group. We would meet like by every 2 weeks, once or twice a month, and people would be trading all the time, not even in like a convention scenario. So it was a big thing. Aslan A, would you guys mind seeing Throwbots/Sizers, Hero Factory, other CZBS at BioniCon? Of course, I think. Imagine if people.
I do not want Bionicle supremacy.
No one mentions Robo Riders. Like, what about that?
Yeah, well, Throwbots/Sizers include Robo Riders. It's like basically Lego Technic motorcycles in a way. Aslan A, imagine if people played the board games or the card game at BioniCon. Dude, 100%. I have one of the board games. There was the original board game, which is like Hunt for the Masks or something. I have that one, Quest for the Masks. Then there was a Bionicle 2003 Mask of Light board game that they did. There was one like Metro Nui board game. I believe it was like 2005, so like the Hordika, but like wasn't as it wasn't as produced as much. I don't think there were nearly as many. But then the most produced Bionicle board game was the Toamari board game, wasn't it? There's like.
I don't think there was a Toamari board game. There was a Nika board game.
Okay, then it was the Nika one, 2006. Yeah, there you go. So, like, that's from what I've heard is the most like produced one that people have. So I'm sure you could find one online. You know.
I would always pick Nuparu because Nuparu was my favorite.
Was it a hard game to play, Geo? Would you say
No. It was just like a fun, casual game. It's like. Get to the finish line first. Oh, by the way, you have to get these cards, and there's like a whole bunch of obstacles and setbacks that you have to do.
Right.
Like get to the Mask of Life before everyone else, even though the Toa and Ike are supposed to be a team.
Yeah.
So they should have replaced them with the Paraka, and also you want like
that would have made a bit more sense.
You want a really hard like border card game. Play Oregon Trail on card game. It just sounds like a crappy novelty, but oh my god, it is more brutal than
you have died of dysentery.
Dysentery.
Yeah, literally. Yeah, like in the game, in the computer game. Like,
the computer game I played when I was a kid, dude, in elementary school. It was tough. I would kids, like especially girls in my grade, would like get emotionally overwhelmed by it sometimes. Like the fact that they died, like, and it's just like a little like game on a computer screen. But that was like hard.
It teaches you how difficult it was to be a pioneer.
To be a human being 100, 200, 300 years ago. It's wild. Actually,
like, why can't I get my shower?
It's crazy. Actually, we're pretty lucky.
Where's my iPhone?
But this was elementary school. Yeah, people didn't even have iPhones. Now I'm sure that's what everyone asks.
The first time I played the Oregon Trail on an emulator, two of my team we were like playing groups. Two of them died in 2 feet of water.
2 feet of water.
Yeah, that was a thing. That was a thing, is you could drown in like 2 feet of water. Like, it was weird stuff. Like, kids would like, oh my god, there's no way. But dude, you don't know. Back then, man, people didn't know how to swim. Dude, it was a whole thing. Odd Dude 21 says, MSN Messenger, wow. Dancing as a Hobbit says, makes me feel old, homie. MSN in MySpace days, for sure, dude. We're old as hell. The Gaming Hawk, what would happen if Makuta was real and what he could do to you? I don't know. Makuta's whole thing is he just wanted to rule, you know? I don't think he had any personal vendetta against Sir... Shadowed One, I guess he had a big problem with.
He was selfish and egotistical.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Hey, he also didn't like Matanui either.
Right.
He also had like over 40 powers.
42, yeah.
42. Like he had all the powers of the rock sheet, including his own mask power.
I'm guessing like the only way to defeat him is pretty much find a way to like keep him inside his metal thing, chain him under the sea. If he doesn't drown, his armor will rust and corrode and possibly fade to dust, and he'll have no body to possess unless he finds something.
Well, even when he had no body to possess, he
possessed the Maxilos robot.
Yeah.
Right.
Also, he was a vat of protodermis, of which the Paraka were using for the Xamaspheres, and
it doesn't matter. Like the Makuta species are gaseous forms. Like even if the Makuta don't have a body, they can find one. And they don't even need a humanoid type body to live in.
Bioskrell says Quest for Makuta would be dope if anyone has it. That might be the one that I have. It was Quest for the Masks or Makuta. Suppose Senji says Discord is phenomenal. Of course, dude. Aslan, if you guys aren't on it, get on the Discord. It's in the description. Aslan A says forgot to mention Robo Riders. Yeah, there you go. Bionicle D&D campaign says, oh, dude, you could make a Bionicle D&D.
Yeah.
I'm sure, dude. Someone has to do that. Just make a whole rule book.
A huge D&D like.
Dude, I've so many friends into D&D. It's big.
I'm in a D&D campaign that does Bionicle. You know?
What?
That's cool. My school runs like a D&D thing, but it's like not Bionicle related. I think they're like considering Star Wars, but I don't know.
Yeah,
and,
there's a lot of Star Wars D&D.
And side note, I was very close on getting the Bionicle board game, but my mom did not want me to get a board game where I'll lose pieces to.
There you go. Danzig is a Hobbit says, I remember when people described the Slicers as prototypes for the Toamata by the great beings if they were to fit in the story. How do you feel about that? Slicers, yeah. But, I mean, that's just a fan theory, you know, of course. I love those things.
That's what they were? Technically, that's what they were?
Technically, yeah, as far as a product goes.
Officially, no.
Technically,
yes.
Yeah.
Technically, Aslan A says the pun. Yeah, the pun. Dude, I used that pun with my roommate who also loves Lego. We watched Lego Masters when it was coming out a year ago, and every time they would say, "Well, we incorporated some Lego Technic," he was like, "Oh my god, it's called Technic," because like when we like shorten words all the time, and when we say like technically this, technically that, we just say, "Well, Technic, like Technic, you're right," and so it just was it became such a funny pun, play on the word like Technic. Aslan A says, heck, maybe even Technic Cyber competition as well as Bioscroll. Danzig is a Hobbit. Also, I still think the great beings are humans, not gonna lie. Adu 21, right? You don't know. There have been people hinted at like, oh, maybe it was Earth the whole time, or like this is Earth hundreds of years now or 100 years in the past. Like I think Greg Farshi has actually said he isn't completely closed off to that being a fun little like gimmick, but I don't know totally. I like the idea that it's like
canonically Spherus Magna is supposed to be about the size of I think Neptune.
I like the idea that like it's like subsequent like deep multiverse connected to maybe like the DC universe or something. I don't know. That seemed interesting, or anything comic book related, just because it's like so out there in a different kind of world. It's so hard for me to connect it to any sort of human element like Earth or like deep down, you know, it's just so wild. You know, Transformers has been able to do it obviously, but that's kind of the way they went about it from the beginning, is that they're aliens.
Transformers have been around for like 40 years at this
point. It would almost be weird to come at Bionicle as like they're aliens. Like it's like, no, not that again. Like let's not do that, please.
Yeah.
CMOS.
Premise has
or-
been done. It's been done
Yeah,
pretty well.
it's
so
been done a lot.
don't need to do it again.
CMOS says BioniCon should have a shooting competition with squid launchers. Dude, I told you I went to a Lego store in 2007 and that was a thing that I had to do. And I won a Greg Farsty signed comic of the first Ignition comic from the Mari Nui saga. So maybe, but we also would have to do a Kordak launcher. We'd have to have Xammer launcher. We'd have to have disc launching. We should do a mask knocking off.
For the Kordak blasters, you need to find ones
Yeah,
that actually work.
ones that actually the air pump actually works. Totally. Or like
A lot of the times the Kordak rockets will get stuck in the barrel.
Oh yeah, that happened all the time. Thornax too, yeah. Thornax, isn't that nuts?
Wait a minute.
They went
Dude,
so many ways.
You know what would be fun to do? What if we all like build like Terrakava and just have a full out punch fight with the Terrakava?
That's what I was thinking. Rahi battles.
Custom Terrakava.
You have 3 hours. Build your own Terrakava.
And do it WWE style or some crap like that.
Yeah. Built
It would be boxing, not wrestling.
build a bracket and everything. Who knows? Split them up in teams. Suppose sent you. Does anyone remember the 500-piece tub that was officially released? I do. They released about 3 of them. I got the one that came out around them like 2004, 2005, so it had like a lot of like Toametru pieces. But I will say, the other day I was on Bricklink and I saw one like a 2003 one, which is like some awesome parts that was on sale for like $120, and I was like, oh man, I was like thinking about getting it, but then I'd be stuck with a bunch of pieces, and I don't really mock that much, but it would have just been fun to get one of those in hand and like unbox it. I don't know, that would be, maybe I should still do it. I don't know. Pop it on the credit card.
Just to mock anymore.
No,
Yeah, no.
I mean, the studio is a thing.
That's
digital designers a thing.
right. No, totally. Like that's the big thing that this community can do now, and I've seen it via Discord, via stuff you've made, Geo, Jager, everyone. Like you can do what you used to be able to do for a lot easier and like 100% cheaper by doing this, using this online program. It's pretty cool, actually. I love that they've done that
All you
now.
really need is hard drive space.
That's nutty to me. That's what you can do now.
Examples. I'll load them up.
No, I've seen a
profile
bunch.
Your profile picture
Is literally one, on that program.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Bioscrawl, we're keeping the squid launching game no matter how many times it takes the perfect shot. Suppose Century, yes, some of them still in circulation on eBay and stuff. Yeah, that's Aslan's answering to you. Yeah, that you can find it on Bricklink. There's one right now by Bionicle Universe or Bionicle Superstore. Let me check it out real quick. Clipsville Melbourne says Lego Masters Australian version versus American version or UK version. I haven't watched all of the versions, so I actually don't know which one I would choose. Obviously, I've only watched the American version. I can imagine they're both good. Maybe explain in the chat a little more about the difference. I don't know. I don't even think Geo or Tributon or Jager, you guys haven't watched like Lego Masters, have you?
No,
I have watched Lego Masters. I've also saw a little bit of the Australian one.
How would you compare them?
I mean, it's about like the same. The only difference is the challenges vary.
Right.
So they're not all the same. But it is fun, to just see like the different perspectives and all the thought process and the creativity, that goes behind all the builds that they make with every single challenge.
Totally.
It's entertaining.
Yeah, I want to check it out too now that I'm just waiting. I guess I only have one more month until the new season comes out though. But we'll see. Let me see here. Oh, okay, here it was. On Bricklink on Bionicle Superstore's page, limited edition 500 pieces. It looks to me this is like a 2003 because it has, oh man. I shouldn't be streaming this. I should just buy this. It just looks so like having all those old pieces would be so much. Toa Nuva pieces, Toa Mata pieces. Let's see how much it is. $170 US. And
Sounds about right.
I'm assuming it sold for like $40, $50. So it's like 3 times the price now, which isn't crazy. But then I'm sure shipping is going to be a whole nother thing. Like shipping this out. Oh, but there's probably so many cool pieces in it, man. Oh, man.
Which is
That would make for a cool video. That would make for a cool video. I'm going to keep it right here in my cart and think about it.
My chair is making noise. That's what
Maybe I set up donations. I'm like, yo, if you want to see me review a 500 piece count random Bionicle super jug, let's meet me halfway and see if I can raise like $100. There you go, and I will review it. That would be a fun video. Open up this box, just see what the heck we have. I guess I could resell the pieces through Bricklink then and see what happens. I don't know. That's like a concept I'm like super into. Oh, dude, Bionicle, how did it become so addicting all of a sudden? People are just spending too much money. This is not good for my wallet.
Why do you think we moved over to studio?
Yeah, and also when I was like, I think I was on the voice chat with you, Zach Kaplan. I was definitely on with Tributron. We were discussing about how expensive the Tonga were, and then I think I think I was about to mention personally, I feel like you have to get connections with the with your local mafia in order to just to get your hands on some of them.
Yeah, man. Who knows? We'll see.
Also, about making like mocks like digitally. Like I could do that, but I make gear functions. So I need to make sure that they work.
It works, right?
Yeah, so I kind of have to make physical models.
So we've been going for an hour 50 minutes. Let's go for about 10 more. I'm gonna go and read through some of this stuff. We got Clipsville Melbourne says Lego Masters Australian. Okay, yeah, just talked about that. Yeah, I have to give it a watch, honestly. I'm sure I can't say I guess because I haven't watched it, but I'm sure the Fox US version is a little bit better produced, if I'm not mistaken. Probably a little crazier. They have this whole stage. But who knows? I mean, UK is a lot closer to Denmark. Lego could send people out. I'm sure it's it's pretty good, The Gaming Hawk. Imagine if Makuta growled like a beast. Suppose Senju, lol. Yeah, the concept I found. So cool. Yeah. The Gaming Hawk. Would you wear Makuta's mask if it was real? If there was any mask that was real, I would probably wear it and see what happens, dude. That's like if there was a Marvel super soldier serum or something, or some superhero. It could be villain serum. They're like, take this. Something will happen. You won't die, but you'll get some cool thing. It's like, yeah, dude. Of course. What you doing? Make my life more interesting.
Yeah. If there was an actual mask that was real and the powers actually worked, the mask that I would use would probably be either a Caden or a Kowalski. So the Mask of Flight or the Mask of Quick Travel.
Yeah, I'd want Mask of Flight as well, definitely. I would have the Miru or.
At the same time, I'm afraid of heights and I hate flying in airplanes.
Right, but then you could get so used to it. Yeah, Kakama. That's pretty good too, though, I will say. The concept I found is cool. Dancing the Hobbit. Bricklink is a godsend. Yeah, I got 2 correct pieces of G2 Golly's shoulder on there, or maybe the previous owner knew what they were doing. Danzig is a Hobbit. Got G2 Golly on eBay, by the way. Oh, awesome. Again, to find a G2 set now is actually hard work, and it's going to be expensive. It's just a part of it. CMOS, does anyone remember pictures of the Dark Ignica and the mutated Brutaka? Yeah, or it was a fake set, right? It was Brutaka as if he had been.
The mutated Brutaka was a fake set,
which is from the.
It fooled a few people.
It's from the books, so I was assuming that maybe it was real,
And Brutaka was such a popular set in 2006, so.
Right.
I felt like, maybe it makes sense. The Gold Titan being the most popular guy in 2006, you probably got another iteration.
So, yeah, if it were to exist, I'd imagine the situation being, oh look, this product is selling. Change some armor pieces and resell it on the double.
I mean, that's what they did with the jet tracks. Like, they made the blue version, then they made a yellow one, and then they turned it into like a
Yeah, I
virtual
have the
sand
yellow one.
speeder in like 2009. The Tornadus.
Basically
Right.
the same frame, but it's using something different.
Yeah. So like it was the same thing released 3 times. So
And I wanted the Tornadus when it came out, and I never did. I never got it.
for me, I really wanted the Scopio. That thing was so cool.
Being like what? I think I was like 12 in 2011, something like that. Maybe 12, 13. I really wanted to get every single Bionicle set I could, but I was a kid and I didn't have the money. So
Yeah.
I was
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of stuck. I was kind of stuck to a $40. I was kind of stuck to like a $40 allowance every other week.
So the Bionicle games that came out were Quest for Makuta, Bionicle Adventure Game 2001, Collector Tin. I have that one. So I guess it was Quest for Makuta. Then the second one, that was 2001. Second one was 2003, Bionicle the board game, Mask of Light the board game. And then the only other one was Bionicle the Quest game, which is the Inika, the, Voya Nui storyline one. Yeah. That's exactly right. There we go. I just found the photo. Wow, now I'm even more intrigued by getting this 500 Bionicle piece canister because it comes with Tahunga pieces. It comes with Mictorin pieces.
The biggest question is, are you actually going to use those pieces?
No.
Then there's no point in justifying that purchase.
It's just to have a tub of Bionicle pieces.
Because
How
Sugar
crazy is
gladly
that?
take it off your hands.
Oh yeah, easily. I mean, I had the
Maybe I'd resell it.
2003 Bionicle parts bin. I got that growing up, and oh man, I was making so many mocks with that. Even though each one was a monstrosity back then because it was awful at building actual mocks.
Yeah.
Because I was little, but man, I had a blast.
It looks like it came with a bunch of masks, a disc. Yeah. People are asking for a lot more money than I thought. Oh my god.
Like having a bin of 500 Bionicle parts just taking up space is like buying a guitar just to hang it on the wall.
Right. I know people that have that. All right.
What's the point of buying like a really, really nice guitar to just use it as a wall decoration? Come on.
So, let's see.
Novelty of it, that's why I collect swords.
Bionicle will be the new opium epidemic. Oh my god. We spend too much money on lots of Bionicle sets to the point where it's unhealthy, but we don't regret it. Dancing the Hobbit, gotta sell a kidney to get a Toamatanui. Yeah, you get a couple Toamatanuis for that. The Gaming Hawk, imagine Makuta was the devil himself. Basically, right? Bioscrawl 9, that's more Karzani, yeah, right? That's Karzani. Karzani literally had levels of hell that they had to deal with. Isn't that
It was
that's
almost like Dante's Inferno.
it was Dante's Inferno. Karzani, that's so true. Bioscrawl, mutated Brutaco was a Photoshop job. Not gonna lie, back then it fooled me. It fooled me too for a second, Then I looked at the photo further and I was like, wait, this is super green screen. Spose sent you. In Lego Atlantis game, you can find Brutaco's mask underwater. What? Lego Atlantis? Brutaco's mask underwater? What is this?
We need the evidence.
I used to be really into Lego Atlantis when it was around. I still have a bunch of the keys.
Oh yeah, the keys were nice. I had a few.
I even have one of the keys in one of my mocks.
Wow, that's interesting. I cannot find a single photo of that Spose send you at all. If you could
There goes.
send that to me, send that to
that I need to clean up.
send that to me on Discord if you can find a photo of the Atlantis game where you see Brutaco's mask underwater. See if you can send that to me on Discord. That's insane.
Now that is a pog mock.
Danzig is a hobbit, right? I remember that JPEG floating around. I remember that Same kind of Spider-Man 4 fake poster vibes. Yeah, it was kind of around then, 2007. Danzig is a Hobbit. By the way, Zach, if you want to get a chance to get the Throwbots, hop on Throwbots, hop on eBay right now. Guess what, boy? Check my channel. I reviewed all the Throwbots because I bought this giant super pack in like 2011 that had every single Throwbot / Slizer or whatever, and the Titans in a box. It was like a Toys R Us super set. And
How much did you get that for?
I mean, back then, dude, it was probably like $100 or $150, which is for all 8 original Throwbots.
That's not bad, actually.
In the original box, sealed, in their containers, sealed, and it came with the, like, I guess you could call them Titan set, like the 2 bigger guys too as well. Like came with
$15, $20.
Yeah, it came with them as well. It was an insane deal I found on eBay, dude. I was just looking around on eBay. And dude, that goes to show you 10 years versus now 20 years. It's going to be a lot harder to find Throwbots. But that review is online. It's like telling people to look at my old reviews. I know I was 10 years, 15 years younger, and it's kind of a little cringe, but you scroll through it, you'll be able to see the sets. I build them, show the pieces, do it all, on my carpet. Senju says, promise you, lol, I was playing that game a lot as a kid when I found it, bewildered. Hey man, try to find it, try and download, see if you can play the game again and find it. Odd Dude 21 says the Discord just said invite invalid. Oh, that's because it's an old invite. I have to do a new one. I'll update it when we close out here in about a minute.
I had to change it to lifetime.
Sposenju says sending it now. Cool, awesome. Send it to me
Unlimited uses for
yeah.
People.
Invite
link expires in 7 days. Edit invite link. Expired never. Number of uses no limit.
Yeah. Here we go. Yeah. There we go. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Oh, I'm looking at this. This is great. I could watch it live. I mean, so far, I'm getting better at this. It definitely looks nice and cleaned up. Just the circulating people and stuff, it's always going to be a bit of a work in progress, but I like this a lot better than the last couple Discords. I agree, with what Thrawn was saying that it would make it easier to technically have, I don't know what you think, Geo, but have, the Discord as just a window with everyone on it. But doing this is kind of fun, too, because it, solidifies people out, and, it looks good. There is just always going to be technical difficulties.
We're still trying new things, different things.
Right.
Yeah. It's not I recommend every spring I recommend doing a overhaul of the server to see if there's anything you want to get rid of or want to keep right. For me holy crap, you're right.
Bonk memes general. Is he talking about the Brutaka mask? Wow, there we go. In the Atlantis video game. Wow, that's pretty good.
Lego.com.
Wow. What an incredible...
It's just a Brutaka mask.
Are my roommates listening to me next? Are my roommates watching this right now?
It's literally an
I feel like I could hear it in the other room.
Yeah.
Actually, never mind. The mask that I want to wear is the only one because it's the most overpowered thing, and it's basically Rick's portal gun.
But
That's
you want to have... But do you want to be known as the man with giant cheeks?
Yes, I would.
It's not cheeks.
Yeah,
cheeks.
I would like to have nice cheeks.
So I ain't complaining about that. It's still imposing.
I mean, the ability to teleport, basically teleport through time and space, but have big cheeks as a drawback. I'm taking the big cheeks, man.
Okay, cool. We're at 2 hours, 1 minute, so let's keep it nice and tight. I'm gonna end it here because I have to have dinner, get ready. I might be filming a review tomorrow is my plan, or a trailer for upcoming Bionicle reviews. Yeah, we'll see. I have a lot of work I gotta do tomorrow. But in the meantime, for everyone around here, Geo, you wanna... I'll just go around. Let's go right, bottom to left, so we'll end with Trib. Just say what's going on, what you have going on, and I don't know. Or just say goodbye. Thanks for watching.
So, this is our final thoughts. So, In conclusion, I think a Bionicle convention would be fantastic if it were to be anything, like at all. But even if it were to become a thing, like I doubt that it would be as big as BrickCon,
Yeah.
or Brick Fair.
No
or
doubt.
BioniCon.
Yeah, of
It would be-
course.
The only way we can do that is by actually starting that and making it happen once the country is available to have conventions again.
Totally.
I really want to go back to the NAMM show, so we can go like next winter in 2022.
Right. Jager?
I thought like the idea of a Lego convention is actually like a really smart like a Bionicle Pacific convention, and I would gladly waste my entire life to get there because I live in the nowhere state of Oregon.
That's not that far out, though. That's not too nowhere.
Not too bad.
Triviatron.
I also agree. Like, I would honestly enjoy going to a Bionicle convention, because if we do like kick it off for the first time, you know, then like there will be already that awareness. You know, people will keep going to the next one after the next. You know, and it will just eventually grow more and more. You know, so the main goal really is just to plant that seed, you know, and have it,
Yeah.
you know, grow from there. You know,
Slowly but
gotta
surely.
go ahead and wash off the sewer, crack open that canister, and build ourselves out. You know?
That's great. Wow, I gotta include that in the highlights. That's
Clever.
perfect. Nice and clever. All right, well, thanks everyone for tuning in. We hope you enjoyed this live show. We're trying to do it every Thursday, 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock. Still working on the hours, but for now, Thursdays work generally for the most of us. Hopefully next time we get even some more people on, but it ran smoothly. We're getting better and better at this. You know, it's a work in progress, but it looks like we had about 170 or so people tuning in altogether. So at certain points, so that's great. Other than that, yeah, that's kind of all I have to say. We'll see you guys again on the next Bio Talk Live. Until then, chill with those Bionicles.
No, no.
Unity,